Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Today is October 2, October 2, 2025. So what is it? That's 100225, or as the rest of the world does, 021025, right? Anyway,
Yep.
I see a lot of familiar faces like everybody. It's familiar probably to everybody here, so that's good. No new faces to introduce today. And today is an exciting day, October 2nd. It means we are approaching EXP Com Con 2025. So it's the official first EXP Con for commercial in a company. And if you guys missed the commercial connect the last hour, Sean pointed out a couple of things, Sean Murphy. And this is to everybody that's part of EXP. I know we have other people that watch these recordings as well after the fact, but I just want to point out when EXP Realty was 5 years old in 2014, according to Sean's info today, they had their first EXP con and they had 100 people show up out of 400 total agents that they had 5 years into the company. They had 400 agents. They were in 31 states. He wanted to contrast the first EXP commercial EXP com. We will be 5 years old in November. Or you can say we were officially 5 years old in October. We just didn't have any agents until November. So we are 5 years right now. We're over 700 people inside our company. And he said there's at least over 600 confirmed registrations to show up at our commercial EXP Con. Now, I guarantee you, that's not all EXP commercial people like us here. That's also people coming over from the other 29 countries we're in, and other agents and visitors that are checking this out in EXP Con this year. So I think that's pretty exciting. We're kind of ahead of the curve as opposed to before. But we can thank EXP Realty for all of that because they have been around here long enough in these 50 states and in these countries for the world to say, oh, EXP commercial, that's your commercial brokerage. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we understand the models. Let's go, Anyway, anybody got anything you want to add to that topic of discussion other than it'd be great if y'all could make it, especially y'all those watch this recording, you should show up. That day of commercial is October 20th. Start about 0830 hours Eastern time, and it ends at 1600 hours Eastern time. And that's the time that the opening event, reception, everything for all of EXP begins. So we end our day with a big party. That's not a bad thing, right? And it's in a convention center. It's not in a hotel, right? Okay. So I will stop talking.
Hey, Keith, if
Carson,
people are going, they need to get there. How are you doing, man?
great. What
You
are you
doing all
saying
right?
to us? Yeah.
If people are going, they need to get their hotel. I just picked mine up, and looked like it was slim pickings on hotels starting to
Yeah,
fill up. So
that's true. I
anyway,
grabbed mine as well yesterday, Carson. I'll send in the chat. I'll look it up where I got. It's like a block and a half away, but beyond that, it's a hike. So you might want to grab what you can while you still can.
Yep.
and it gets expensive too. The closer you are, the more expensive it is. There's stuff going for I don't even know. I can't remember, but I think I paid like 400 a night. It went all the way up to 900 on some of them. So anyway.
So with that in mind, guys, and those watching this recording, when you see XPCon locations announced for next year, if you think you're going to go there, go ahead and go online and book the hotels immediately because the place I'm staying, Lowe's, I understand they're getting almost four figures for their nights now. And when we booked the early booking, it was only $335. So
I
you might want
checked
to
it last night. I checked it last night and they were $1,000 a night.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. So it just makes sense. Any of these major events that we have coming up next year, and you know about it, book now. Even your airlines, book now. I promise it makes a difference. You guys always wait till the last minute kind of people out there in La La Land. That's on you, I guess. Anyway, hey, welcome everybody. Still no brand new faces. We were just talking about EXP Con starting. It's going to be October 20th, and then we got the rest of EXP Con for the next 2.5 days after that. If you want to invest in your career at EXP, you should start planning to attend at least the EXP Con, especially commercial. You need to attend EXP Con, and you need to start attending any regional rallies in your part of the country in the future next year. You will connect with hundreds, if not thousands, of realty agents that don't even know about you yet. And they have billions of dollars in referrals to send us every year. Billions. Starts with a B, you know that? Billions. Okay. All right. So we got some new faces showed up again. And I'm asking ahead of time, got anything you want to ask us? Tommy here has something he wants to bring up, but we'll let Tommy go ahead and start. And then anybody else, if you got anything you want to bring up real quick, you need some answers or whatever, go for it. That's what this is all about. I'm talking to the recording now, guys. I know you guys show up all the time. I'm talking to the recording and everybody that's out there that's not showing up. Okay, go ahead. Tommy, what's up?
Oh, not much. Not much. I didn't have anything earth shattering. I was just saying
Oh.
I'm looking forward to EXP ComCon. Like I just mentioned, I locked it in the hotel in yesterday. It slipped my mind, but I'm looking forward to flying out there in what was it, 2.5 weeks out, give or take? 3 weeks,
is.
maybe.
Today's the
no-
2nd, the 19th is 17 days away.
So 2.5 weeks. Yep.
Yeah.
So it'll be great. There's always a good reason to find an excuse to go to Miami, right? And I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces from Nashville, like you mentioned, Keith. It's good to reconnect with all of you since then. Still doing some follow-ups with that crew. It was a great crowd. So appreciate you, Keith. And I don't know if Paul's on or not, but appreciate him as well for putting that on. Nothing really new going on from my neck of the woods other than business as usual. A lot of M&A activity in the oil and gas space, but it doesn't impact the mineral rights game. So I get asked that question a lot, but it's anecdotal. It runs in parallel, but it doesn't impact me. So I get that question a lot. So I figured I'd get ahead of it.
Excellent. So let me tell you something. I took advantage of something that I started with one of my guys on my team, Rick Singleton. He's new to our company, but he's all about marketing. We went ahead and started podcasting, and we took our portable podcasting bag or whatever to Nashville to that event. And we interviewed 5 different people, 5 of the speakers out of, I think, 10 or 12. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you all, I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to tell you, got a new website out there called Build Forward Now. Build Forward Now. And you know you're on the right Build Forward Now because you'll see a purple background and an old style microphone. That's pretty much the symbol of our Build Forward Now. And you can go on that site, go across the top there, click YouTube, Facebook, it doesn't matter. And you'll see the videos, and you got somebody special right there. Mr. Tommy Bracci is on one of those videos, and it turned out great, man. What'd you think? What'd you think? Yeah, it really turned out great.
No, I love it. Yeah, I hit play on that this morning when I got the email. You guys did a good job putting it together, especially for your first go at it. I thought you guys did a fantastic job putting it together.
Our premise is it's all about economic development, guys and ladies. It's all about economic development. So anybody on the planet who works somehow affects the local economy, the regional economy, the national economy, the global economy. Somehow, some way, what you do is a contribution to the economy. And so it's not hard to find people, and they tell us all about how what they do helps move or build the economy forward. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Check out Tommy on there and check out a couple of our other speakers. And Nelson, I did bring the handouts from Mr. Dr. Bart Basie. We talked about that yesterday on the Commercial Mastermind about the big, beautiful bill and some of the real estate parts of this. And I've got Luis, I got Carson, I got Tommy, I got Paul here now that can add to this discussion. But before we get on that, if you want to, Nelson, go to that buildforwardnow.com website, go click YouTube icon. Well, we have a Build Forward Now YouTube channel, and find Dr. Bart Basie and hear everything he talked about. Well, no, he just answered, he was answering my questions about the economy and what he does. So you'll learn some stuff from him on that, about 11 or 12-minute interview we did with him. So,
Yep.
all
And
right.
then
Hey, welcome, Paul.
regarding EXP, ComCon, the hotel
Yeah.
conversation, I put a link into the Zoom chat. That's the hotel I was able to get locked in yesterday. And it's only like a block and a half, maybe 2 blocks from the convention center, so it's close. But like Carson was saying, it's slim pickings. So once that's gone, it's going to be a bit of a hike, at least based on what I was looking at.
Yeah. Makes sense. All right. Anybody else got anything they want to bring up real quick before I bring up some of this stuff that I said? Nope. Okay. All right. So I don't know everything. You all know that. So if somebody asks a question, I need somebody else to answer it. Okay. That'd be great. But one of the segments we had at the Nashville IRL Commercial Mastermind Summit in Nashville 2 weeks ago, starting today, actually, right? Yeah, 2 weeks ago. One of our speakers is a gentleman named Dr. Bart Basie. He's been doing this 50 years. And what he does, he's a senior advisor of the Center for Financial, Legal, and Tax Planning. And he's an attorney at law. He's licensed in Illinois and New York. He's admitted to the United States Supreme Court. He explained that to me. You got to go through a process to be one of the attorneys that could be at the Supreme Court in the future. And he's a tax course instructor for the Internal Revenue Service's annual filing season program. Now, what does that mean? He's one of the guys that the IRS totally depends on to get out there and educate and train all the professionals we use to help us with our taxes. It could be attorneys, it could be CPAs and IRS agents. And he's one of the people that write the exams that they all have to take and get certified to continue on working with the IRS. Can you believe that? So Paul, in his infinite ability to connect and bring people around, found Dr. Bart. And Paul, I'll let you go ahead and tell us real quick. How'd you do that? How did Dr. Bart Basie come to see us? I know how, but go ahead and tell us.
Yeah, well, I ran into him at IBBA down in Florida a couple of years ago.
IBBA is
International Business Brokers Association, which is a body that oversees the business brokerage industry. EXP is connected to them in some way because if you're going to do business brokerage with EXP, you have to take some of their courses through IBBA. So we do have a connection to them through our company. But I was down in Florida at one of their conferences, saw him speak, was impressed. Saw him another year later up in Kentucky at another IBBA conference. And I just said, we got to get this guy. And, you know, he has an enormous speaking fee of about $10,000 to come and talk to people. He started out in the education world at universities doing all these talks. And then by demand, he got into opening his own business. Now his son and him are in business together. But we were very fortunate to get him. Simply, I just treated him to a hotel room and took care of him while he was in town. But just very fortunate to have him. He's a expert and probably one of the leading people in IRS taxes in the United States.
Yeah, exactly. And the key takeaway, and he emphasizes it in every conversation he has with you, even if you're having breakfast with him at the hotel or whatever. The key takeaway is the code changes as much as every week. And he is constantly staying on top of anything and everything coming out of Congress or the IRS department or whatever, because that's his responsibility as far as making sure all the experts out there that help us do taxes know what they're doing.
And
So-
speaking of that, Keith, he only believes in getting an A or an F if you're his student, because
Yep.
you say anything less than an A is 20% mistakes. If you get a B, you got about 20% wrong on the test. So he said, would you allow someone to work for you in your business and make mistakes 20% of the time? And of course, we'd all say no, or we wouldn't be in business. And he says, then you either know the material or you don't. It's either A or F.
And
Yeah.
after that comment, he just pointed out to the guy who was controlling the PowerPoint presentation and said, "You gentlemen, you are in trouble right now," because he couldn't get the slides off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny.
Well,
Yeah.
he sets the bar high for all of us. He was very, what's the word? I mean, I watched this man who's much older than I am with the energy and the girth that he has, and I thought,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about slowing down. I'm watching him. I'm like, maybe I can go for a few more years, yeah, at 10 or 11 speed, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Very personal, very friendly fella. You wouldn't
Yeah.
have any idea that he and his family owns more than 400 properties around the US right now. I mean, he tells you that. He says that in his presentation. And he tells you how to do it right so you don't waste money. How's that sound? And he would know, right? He would know. Anyway,
He's a great,
let's
great
stop talking.
resource for all of us. Yes.
Yeah. So what I wanted to bring up, I kind of touched on it yesterday, was just a couple of things. I get the handout here. Paul, I think, is electronicalizing it, whatever the word is.
Yes.
Making it electronic so that he can email to a bunch of people, whatever, at any point. But here's a couple of things that was in the one big, beautiful bill that passed on July 4th, familiar date, 2025. And one of the things that was the bonus depreciation returns. Does anybody know what that is? What is that, Nelson?
Well, so accelerated appreciation is a calculation based on the useful lives of all the components of a building. So if you were to do a cost segregation study to break down all of those components into like 80 different categories, some of them are going to be a 5-year, some are going to be a 7-year, some are going to be a 15-year, and some of them are going to be a 20-year useful life. So anything that has a 20-year useful life falls into the category of accelerated depreciation, and bonus depreciation allows for you to put all of those together and deduct it in the first year of our service.
That's huge.
So you put the property, you buy the property, you do the cost seg study, you segregate out all of the components into their categories, and then this, you basically get a report that can be filed by your CPA as electing to use the celebration
Bonus
method.
depreciation. No, you elect to go to bonus. That means everything has an immediate write-off. You don't have to wait that 3 years or 5 years or 7 years for accelerated. It's an immediate write-off. And he put in parentheses your HVAC, your appliances, your floorings, and et cetera. Immediate. And this applies to assets placed in service starting this year through 2030. So for the next, 4 or 5 years, 5 years or so.
Yeah,
It's
it's,
huge,
a,
guys.
it's
Can
not
I
it's
ask
not
a
dwindling
Yeah,
down.
Jill.
question on that?
Go
Can I
ahead,
ask
Jill.
a question on that? Because I'm new to this arena, and I'm trying to understand things. But does that, when you go to sell the building on the other end, does that get added back in? Is that my understanding?
Yes.
Depends on timeframes.
Well, generally, yes, there is a recapture, but there's also deferral methods by trading into a like-kind exchange or buying into a opportunity
Opportunity zone.
zone. And if you were to convert your your capital gain in those ways, then they can be deferred, and taxes aren't due, and you don't have to recapture. But it does impact your basis, so it will be deducted from the basis going forward.
Did that make sense,
Nelson,
Jill?
or Keith, can I
I
add
think
to that or
so.
ask? So, Nelson, correct me, or anybody that knows more about this than I do, but if you own let's say you own a small business, a little warehouse, and you want to expand and you need a larger warehouse or another manufacturing building to keep making your widgets, you can buy that building. You could set it up with the equipment, the flooring, all the things Keith mentioned, Dr. Basie talked about, and depreciate that all in 1 year rather than 29 years, which means if you could save money on taxes in year one, you can expand much more quickly. It's kind of like priming the pump when you own a business. It's almost like a bank loan. I mean, you do have to come up with the money to buy the building or buy the equipment, but when you can write that off your taxes in year one, you put that money right back in your pocket. You can continue your expansion of that business by buying more real estate or more equipment. It's just going to accelerate the growth, I think, of industry in our country. Does that
Absolutely.
proper?
So one thing you have to know is if it's beyond 20 years of a useful life, can't do it. So components like the building shell, the roof system, I would say the building envelope, a lot of those things, they have a 29 on a 27 and a half year life on a residential like multifamily, or 39-year life if it's commercial, office, or industrial.
Right. Hey,
So
so
if
Paul,
it's,
go ahead,
so
Joe.
if it's longer than how long you can't do it? 25,
You-
20.
No,
You-
the
you can-
useful life, you can't just automate, this is done by an engineering studied report, so it identifies all correctly the value of each component. You can't do it without that. That's the main thing. So you get a good quality engineering based study, and I have a relationship with one of the top CSSA, stands for Cost Segregation Services Inc. They've done over 50,000 studies nationwide. They're very reliable and they have it down. And so basically you hire them, or somebody else, you get a cost seg study. And then you basically have to get with the CPA who's preparing the taxes and file the right form, which is generally a 3115 form, which determines that you want to use accelerated depreciation, not straight line. So then you'll get a number based on how much you paid, how much the land is worth, how much is the building, how much the building costs, what components fall into that, what improvements you've made and all that stuff. So you can get that information pretty simply before you pay a dime. And then know, hey, when I'm ready to file my taxes, I'm entitled to this much in accelerated depreciation. And depending on how it's owned, will apply to either ordinary income or passive income. So just depends on how it's owned. If the business owner personally owns the business, but he works in the business and makes money in it, and he sets it up right, then he can use all of the depreciation to offset his current income in his business and apply it
Okay.
to not have to pay money on a large amount of money. And if he doesn't use it all in 1 year, he can carry it forward.
Hey, look, I've got
Thank
to
you.
interject a couple things, okay? So the other changes falls right into what we're talking about. Qualified production property can do the 100% bonus depreciation. What that means, and I've got it right here, is an integral to a qualified production, agricultural chemicals. So the building itself, Nelson, the facility, there are some that can fall into 100% bonus depreciation. And they have to be construction, new buildings starting in January of 2025 through December 31st of 2028. So anything's being built right now. And it must be substantial transformation of product. So Paul, I didn't quite grasp what that meant. So I want to clarify what this building does. Did you grasp what he was saying, or Max, or?
Yeah, part of what I believe he said was, let's say you're making bicycles in your factory, and if you get some raw material in, like steel and metal tubing and
Rubber,
things
yeah.
like that, and you're actually manufacturing the bicycle in your factory, and then you're buying some rubber tires and you're assembling it, you would have to do a certain amount of manufacturing to that bicycle to qualify for that tax credit or incentive. If you're just buying tires from somebody and a frame from somebody else and pedals from somebody else and the gear shifters from somebody else, and you're just assembling the bicycle, you're assembling it. You're not manufacturing.
Yeah, so the building does not fall in there. Yes.
That's the way I interpreted that.
Yeah. And you have to own the building. It's not lease buildings. Okay.
Correct.
And then the other piece that Paul and all of us are talking about, we were talking about equipment. They have raised the Section 179 asset expensing to 2.5 million. Immediate
get-
write-offs up to 2.5 million in equipment.
Keith, I'll tell you real life example on the tax benefits of building and manufacturing. I got a foundry where they mold metals looking at site selection on a $150 million facility in Tennessee.
Go,
You
brother,
know,
go.
yeah, once they get through the state, you got to go through the state on something that big. They might use me for site selection, but
Yeah.
those tax benefits are a huge deal. So I'm going to get that info that I have, all the notes I have from Mr. Basie, and start posting about it, because people like to hear that, and people are making decisions based on that information right now. So
Yeah.
that $150 million facility is just one example, but if you're not talking about it online, people, you're the guy they need to talk to. So anyway, go
Yeah.
ahead.
And I want to add to that. And I'll reemphasize it. If you go to your CPA or your attorneys and they're not on top of all this, you're not going to have the best advice when you want to do what Carson is saying. When you want to go-
Exactly.
yeah. So it's not a bad thing to know that people like Bart Basie exist and that they're out there trying to teach a whole lot of other people and making them and writing the test for them to take.
Well, yeah, and I used to see this all the time in the oil and gas industry, is these stupid CPA. They're not stupid people. They pass the CPA exam, but all they do is do small business accounting. So when you take them oil and gas, they can't. They're like, oh, it's passive income. It can't be written off, and it's just a section of the tax code they just haven't looked at. So if you could get somebody like Bark to get them up to speed, or just use him, So
and they depend on their software programs they're using, and they're depending on the updates on the software programs. Well, do you think they update things every month or every week or two on those software programs? No, not as fast as things change. So we're just trying to bring awareness to the country we live in and how things work here right now.
Yeah,
when it
Keith, let
comes
me add
to-
this too. So when I talked to Dr. Abbasi a while back when I first met him, we got along great, and I called him. I had a situation where I was going to sell my home, and I was going to come into some money.
Hey, Paul, wait a second. Do you guys hear these helicopters?
No.
Okay, good. Go ahead, Paul.
We wanted to, do some pre-planning before like a chess game. You want to know your moves before you make them. I called Dr. Bassi, or emailed him, I should say, and said I'd like to have a conversation about a business matter. And when he finally he replied, he was about $700 for a phone call, and he said if the phone call is 1 hour or 3 hours, it's about 700. Now, I don't want to quote his prices, but I don't want people thinking that just because he's a friend of ours now, meaning EXP, that he'll pick up the phone and chit chat for a half hour over.
Right.
When you get specific and you say, I've got a client, my client wants to know, at that point, he's probably going to want them to become a client of his. So be careful if you do reach out to Dr. Bassi. I'm sure he'd take the call and talk, but probably won't go into client privilege things until you engage with a engagement letter, and then there's going to be some money involved. When you want the best, you have to pay for the best.
If he asks my name, I'll tell him I'm Paul.
Just give him your credit card, Luis.
Yes.
Goodness. Hey, did we talk enough about this? Because we're now, we got about 18 minutes left.
And one other thing, don't forget he's got a son named Roman, and Roman is really the owner of the business. They transferred the business to Roman. So they do have a staff, a big staff, other CPAs, but it's not just one older gentleman in Florida. They've got a whole staff throughout the country. So everybody feel free to contact them.
Yeah, let's see, where's his
If you need
contact?
anything, just send me an email, paul.zorich@expcommercial, paul.zorich@expcommercial. I'll scan and send you the packet that Keith was showing.
Yeah,
And that packet has his, you can subscribe to his monthly newsletter. That is free, FREE. And if you need any help, his information will be on there to contact him. I think he has a scan button there too.
Here, let me
actually,
try
his
that.
website.
Hold that
I'll-
up for a
I'll-
minute.
Oh, there you go. His website is, and I'm saying this to the recording, BBASI, Bravo Bravo Alpha Sierra Indigo, at taxplanning.com. B Basie, that's for Bart Basie, B Basie at taxplanning.com. You can send him an email as well.
Or www.taxplanning.com for the website.
Yeah.
Good connection, good for all of us to know him.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Thank you, Paul. Thank you so much for just that one piece of the entire day. That was huge right there. So
I knew it. I knew it
and
was important.
again, what Paul did is what we started this whole meeting off today is you've got to go to those meetings. You got to go, if you're a business broker, you got to go to IBBA at least once a year. If you're a CCIM or an SAR, you got to go to those. If you're in commercial real estate, period, I mean, at least go to anything we got going on in EXP commercial or anything local that you know of that's in your town about CRE. You've got to go to these meetings. You'd be surprised who you meet and what happens down the road. You got to do it.
Yep.
All right, let's change the subject. What's happening? Can we go around the horn? We never get to hear from who? Blair. He always just sits there. He's always quiet. He just takes it in. You know why, don't you? Because he knows everything. And it's only because of age, right? When you've been around long enough, you seem to know stuff. Oh, hey, Rich, what do you think? Looking okay?
Not bad, young man. Not bad.
Not quite as white, you know.
I don't know how you do it, but congrats.
I told you
That's
before. I
awesome.
told you what it is. It's all about not having kids.
Okay, that's a little too late for me on that.
Well, Blair, you got anything? No? Come on. Hey, you gonna go to Louisville? It's SIOR. Are you gonna be there? We have a bunch of people at EXP Commercial gonna be there. Sean announced that today on the Commercial Connect.
When is Louisville, Keith?
It's that first week of November.
I might go. I don't know. I gotta look. That's not too far from me. I don't think.
Yeah, from Murfreesboro to Louisville. I guess you
Yeah.
can get there in 4 hours at the worst case.
4. That's
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah, I have to add 3 more hours if I drive there. Nothing? Nobody's got any questions?
How
Yeah.
so Keith, this literally is the first ever commercial EXP convention, right? Or conference, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
Down
it's
in Miami.
Commercial conference, yeah.
It's a tongue tire. I even had trouble saying tongue tie on that. Well, we'll say I'm kind of excited. That sounds like a lot of people, 700. So, it sounds like a good crowd.
So if you're going to EXP Con and you haven't gone to the WhatsApp and joined the group, what's it called there? Let me pull it up. If you're in WhatsApp, you need to join EXP Con Miami 2025. You join that group because everything's going on in there. Everybody's talking about everything. And right now there are 513 of us in there. I posted
Okay.
today about EXP Con, and I said, let's make it to 1,000. Let that be our total attendees. Let's go for 1,000. I posted it on there and people are getting excited. So
Hey, let me ask you this. How do you search this group? It's EXPCon 2025.
WhatsApp,
Yeah.
EXP Con Miami 2025. Yeah. Yeah, we
Steve,
can go.
while it's a little quiet, I'll just add that, I've been to many of these conventions now. I like them a little better in Florida than Vegas, but nonetheless, the networking is great amongst advisors and commercial. But just meeting the residential people and trying to get to their team leaders, let them know where you're at, tell them, a lot of them don't even know we exist, or if we exist, they don't know how it works. They don't know that they can give us referrals. We can, give back to them 20%. Just talking to people like that it'll pay for the conference eventually. Might be
Yeah.
2 to 3,000 to get to a conference, but you'll make that money back in one deal.
Understand, a lot of realtors across the globe are thinking property, but for them to realize business brokerage and mergers and acquisitions are right there at their fingertips, because we have that in EXP commercial. I mean, those are things they haven't even thought about. So when you go and you meet these people, say, look, go back to your clients, ask them what they do for a living. Now that you know, if they say keywords like, well, I own a business, oh my gosh, you got to bring Nelson or Paul or I don't know. I guess that's it. That's on here today into the picture. Let them talk about their business. If they want to, grow it, shrink it, whatever, I'm telling you, that's where it happens.
And
So-
Keith, it's
so-
international. So you'll meet people from Italy, from England, where we're now I heard EXP's moving up to #1 residential in England. And I think may hear that we're growing commercial outside of the US boundaries. So you want to get in with the residential people in different countries to let them know we're here.
So,
Yeah.
so Paul, I can bring you a company. So if I had a friend, I'm just saying hypotheticals here in like Arkansas, I could bring them to you
Yes.
to sell it. Any state you can sell a business in.
Almost any state. There are a few turf states that, like commercial, we could work through the broker at EXP in that state. However, there's about 14 states that are considered turf states that I can't go into if I'm not licensed in that state. But
Yeah.
for the most part, we can do a workaround legally, but for the most part, we can make it work.
Okay. So we bring them to you. We can get a cut, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
it's got to be a good business, though. I get it.
Yeah,
So-
so it's a lot of questions up front, just like commercial. I mean, we got to look at the P&Ls and make sure they're legit, make sure it's a real business. I mean, we get a lot of onesie twosies, a one-man band type business stuff, but those could be sold, but it's better when it's a business that can run without the owner operator being present. Then you got a true business that's a little easier to sell.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some announcements. Rich, you always have I got a question for you, Rich. I've been sending people from overseas to send you emails. Have you been getting emails from them?
I sure have, Keith. I apologize. I should probably CC copy you when I respond back, but thank you for that.
I think that's great.
Yeah, and they've got international deals, and these international deals are really, really interesting. And I think, I'll be the first to admit that I've never really had thought about, putting any kind of clients in international deals, but it's just a question to simply ask your clients. I mean, have you looked outside the United States to allocate some of the capital? Because we all know there's a ton of dry powder on the sidelines just waiting to be allocated, and our inventory is still really incredibly light all across the country. So why not look beyond our borders if in fact it makes sense? And when I was listening to some of the presentations on the last call.
Well, wait, Rich,
yeah.
what are you talking about? What kind of a call are you talking about? What's going on?
I'm sorry, Keith. This is in regards to the deal exchange, which we do on the first and third Tuesdays of every month. In fact, we've had a 3-week layover here because there was 5 Tuesdays in September. So the next call is Tuesday, October 7th. It'll be 8:30 a.m. 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11:30 Eastern. And on our last call, we had a number of international deals that were presented that were pretty interesting. And the cap rates were, similar to areas in the United States that we would consider, strong cap rate areas. They looked interesting. These were also pretty substantial in terms of valuation. Some of these were over $100 million. So there's some real strong international assets that should be considered if you have institutional investors looking to allocate their capital in alternative areas. So I highly recommend it. On the next call, which is next Tuesday, of course, we've got two more international deals. In fact, one of them, and I'm going to promote this a little bit. We promoted it about a month ago, Tequila Tuesday. It's an international deal in Mexico. It's a development deal. It's very interesting, a little outside the box, but it includes a hospitality element as well as a tequila distillery. And so who amongst us does not want to own or be a part owner of a tequila distillery? So it's an interesting deal. I actually ran the numbers myself just to see what kind of comparison it was in it. It's an interesting deal. Again, it's not for everybody, but it's an interesting deal, and it's certainly something you can bring up to prospective investors who, have a ton of cash and they just don't know what to do with it. Because, the one thing about syndicators and people who raise money, if they don't use that money, they got to give it back. So they want to allocate it so they can get acquisition and disposition fees. So we've got to look above and beyond our normal outlook in terms of just the continental United States in terms of asset allocation. So, but I hope you all can join us. We've got 7 deals already, and I'm anticipating a few more to come in over the weekend. That's pretty rare. We usually struggle to get deals right to the last minute, but I do think things are opening up. Of course, we've got Powell with the lower interest rate announcement last week or a couple weeks ago. That should certainly spur some activity. And again, if you've got off-market opportunities, this is a golden opportunity. It's a great way to present an off-market opportunity that you might have, and you can team up with another broker. And half a loaf is better than no loaf, right? So it's a great thing to do, and I really appreciate all the folks that have participated. Carson's been on there. Blair, of course, has been a big supporter, and if you guys can make it, I appreciate the support. I'd love to have you on there, and if you've got deals, please, by all means, we still have slots available for next Tuesday. Thanks, Keith.
Hey, Rich, how much was that hotel down there in Mexico? I kind of like that. I forgot about it.
Well, no, this one hasn't been presented yet, the one I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be presented on Tuesday, Carson, but there was a hotel deal that Paulo Macedo presented in Portugal that was $100 million. And it seemed, the numbers seem to be okay. I mean, obviously, when you look at it, you're looking at it from the 30,000-foot view. I didn't peel back the onion on it.
Yeah.
But the numbers that she showed me looked very reasonable and within line for a hospitality acquisition here in the States.
I think the one I'm thinking of is the one Caesar had. It was like 300 million, but it was a beautiful
hotel.
Yeah,
but it was like right on the strip in Cancun next to huge resorts. So it looked like a nice asset though. It looked like it called for every penny of that. But anyway,
whenever you have a vacant asset that size, you got to really peel back the onion on that, because there's a story behind that, right? And you have to be careful.
Well, there's opportunity to get it for nothing too.
Agreed.
So anyway, all right. I appreciate you, man.
You bet. Thanks, guys. See you on
hey,
Tuesday.
listen, so let me say, so I have sent people in France and Spain to Rich over this week too. And what happened was I went online. I went into Slack, guys. If you're not using Slack yet, you need to get into it, and you need to go search and add a lot of channels. There's a lot of international ones on there. And I went in there and I started posting about us being here in the US, a totally separate commercial brokerage here in the US from our residential brokerage. And that's where these people are coming from, Rich. They're reaching out to me individually and saying, oh, wow. Yeah. Do you have buyers? Do you have, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, hang on, time out. We got something better than that. We have the opportunity for you to market to a lot of people in the US if you want to. So I think it's great.
You know what, Keith, the flip side to that too is, you're talking about accelerated depreciation, and Japanese investors especially are very keen on that because of the way their tax laws are. So Japanese investors might look at our assets that we have here that get presented on the deal exchange and have it be an opportunity that they may actually pay a tad or bit more just simply because they have that accelerated depreciation. It's a tremendous tax advantage. And again, if you just look at it this way and say, if you use accelerated depreciation and then you have a short hold, maybe a 3 or a 5 year hold, well, again, as long as you do a 1031 exchange, you avoid doing the recapture. So it's a tremendous tax advantage and can open up some opportunities for people who might not otherwise be looking at that asset or underwriting it saying, I can't make the numbers work. But with the accelerated depreciation, it might just close that gap enough to where they can pull the trigger on it. So
yeah,
the great thing about these international folks is they start to see some of the assets that we have here, and they have investors for these kinds of assets because of the tax laws of different countries. So it works both ways. So the more the merrier, the more we get, the more people that are involved, both as presenting deals as well as buyers. It's only going to benefit the folks that are on the call and have deals to present. So thanks, Keith.
You're welcome. Hey, listen, anybody got a last comment that you want on the recording? Because I'm ready to turn it off. Go ahead, Nelson.
I just want to talk about the hospitality meeting yesterday that you attended and the guest speaker that was presented the hotel shift concept of converting hotels to workforce housing.
I wasn't
and
on that. I wasn't on that one, Nelson. Sorry.
You weren't?
No.
I thought that was
Do
you.
I, do I have a twin?
I thought
Isn't
you
that
were on
great?
there.
There's
Sorry.
two of me in
Anyway,
this world.
so interestingly enough, it's recorded. I met one of the investors on one of these shows. And she said she bought a hotel in Houston. I reached out to her and met her. She introduced me to her partner, and her partner's one of the leading hotel to apartment investors. They've got so they've been a great client of mine. I haven't sold them any property, but I've helped them finance $7 million project that they are doing and closed.
Are you
up.
talking about Melissa?
Yeah. Melissa
Okay.
Baker. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you weren't on that meeting?
No, but I know all about them because, she has moved over into EXP commercial about 2 years ago, and because of that protocol says you got to have a mentor, and I became her mentor.
Okay, so her
Yeah.
husband Jeff and Alex Cartwright are partners. I
Yep.
met Alex. I've earned his
This
business.
is on a
over the last
recording
year.
now. This is
Yeah.
being recorded. Okay.
So anyway, if someone wants to see the whole presentation about hotel to apartment investing and how lucrative it can be, I can send them a copy.
All right. Any other announcements before I turn this thing off? EXP Con, you got to be there. Okay. Let me turn this one off.